Hey everybody, and welcome back. Well, if you're a little confused because it's Saturday, I think I did mention that this weekend was going to be my first trial of the year, probably one of only two that I'll actually ride. So as I had an early start on Sunday morning, I thought I'd put this out for you tonight. Alright, so what are we going to do this week? Well, I've done all the little bits of bronzing on the frame. That's all finished off around the bearing cups and all the bits and pieces. I put in those strengthening pieces there, so they're all bronzed in nice. So what we're going to do to start with, I've got a couple of pieces ordered for the engine. We're going to do some engine work, replacing bearings and stuff like that. But the first thing we're going to do is the forks. We'll take them apart, and I've got new oil seals. Excuse me. There we go, some new oil seals for them. What I've done as well, actually, because I like the way they look, is I've ordered some fork gaiters rather than just dust seals. So we will strip the forks, put the new fork seals in, and then I won't make you watch it, but I'll polish up the legs a bit. And then we'll put the forks in, and as you saw last week, we've got a front wheel. We'll put the front wheel in. Hopefully, I know it's on the way because I had Thursday, I think, a UPS thing to say that the rim and spokes were on their way from California. So today's Monday. It's 86 degrees, would you believe? So that rim and spoke should be here during the course of the week. If they come tomorrow or Wednesday, I'll probably build it up so before we get to the end of this video, we'll actually have both wheels in. A nice rolling chassis. Can't think of anything else that we'll be doing. As I said, we'll change crankcase bearings and things like that. I've got to talk, I'm not going to mention it because I don't know whether I'm right. I've got to talk to Steam Shop about pistons and things because, you know, he spent 50 years building engines, race engines and everything, so he does know his cylinder heads and valves and pistons and bores and things. So that's that. What else? Anything else? Nothing I can think of. We're just going to do catch-up jobs, if you like. Basically, all I can do is what I have parts for. So, one thing I did do is, you may remember when I did the 300 conversion on my B25, I bought a set of barrels and pistons for the FJ 1100 that I used, and I got them really cheap. And that was great because it gave me several chances in case I made a mess of any of the machining. Well, I've been able to do the same with the pistons for the Triumph. I found somebody selling a set of barrels and with pistons for the KZ 1000, and I checked the liners. The liners are within, you know, a smidgen of the same length as the Triumph liners are. Well, it's the same stroke, I should say, so I imagine the liners are going to be the same. So I'm going to have 4 liners and 4 pistons. So that gives me 2 chances to do that. So that'll be good. For, God, I don't know, I think $75. What's that? 50 quid, which is very nice. So when they come, we'll be looking at those. Comments. Actually, I think I forgot to really answer the comments from the week before. So there's probably some out there. I'll read through them again. There was a number of comments about the brakes and things. A couple of people mentioned that instead of getting thicker brake linings, I should just put some spacing pieces, i.e. some sort of shim stock, if you like, around the cam and the pivot point on the brake plate and move the shoes out that way, which I have done in the past. But actually, the reason I'm going to do them with putting new lining material on is because for a while I've been wanting to try this lining material that McMaster Car sell, which is one of my sort of material suppliers here, and it's got a particularly high friction coefficient of friction. So I wanted to try that, and this seemed like the perfect chance because I can get it in different thicknesses. So we'll do that, and if it doesn't make any difference, well, we'll do something else. Alright, so let's set to and strip these forks. Right then, I'll obviously only do one fork because the two of them are going to be identical. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the oil out that's in them. So there's a little drain here. I mean, this is all stuff, it's pretty obvious. What I normally do is just get myself, here I've used a quart oil thing that I've cut the top off, so I can take the screw out, whoops, put that in there, and then just pump them, and that really squirts the oil out. Then we'll take the drain out, and there'll still be some oil in, but not much. So let's see how easily this will come out. Ooh. If there's any oil in, you won't actually see it, of course, because there's a little sealing washer in there. Is it a sealing washer or an O-ring? Little rubbery sealing washer. You'll hear it come out probably if there's any. Oh. Yep. Oh, there's a little bit finally, but if they'd have had the full amount, it would have you'd have heard it going squit, squit. So the next thing we're going to do is see if we can get this Allen bolt out. Now, as I mentioned before, if you leave the fork all together, there's generally enough pressure from the spring to hold the tube that the fork is in, the damping tube, particularly if you use an impact. And everything's more or less in view. You can never get these bloody things on. There we go. But of course, if they start to turn, you're going to have to take the spring out and make up something to fit down and hold the tube. But with any luck, it's 8mm. There we go. Now what we'll do is we'll tip it up, see if there's any oil in again. No. Right. Good, doesn't that look like the BSA one? Yeah, there's no oil in there. So what I'm going to do is take the old oil seal out. I'm just looking to see if it's got a spring clip to hold it in. Doesn't like it, doesn't look like it. Hold on a second. Right, I've brought you in closer because I want to show you inside here. Looks like we have another delay coming up. There is a metal piece, but there's also a groove for a clip. So I think I might have a KT250 parts book. When I first started with the workshop, I was just going to do trials bikes, and I sort of bought a load of manuals and parts books on disc and so on. I'm pretty sure there should be one in there. Let's have a look at the other one. Yeah, there's a wire in there. There's a wire clip. Bit like a, you know, a gudgeon pin circlip. So I'll have to find some of them. I don't know, Mike might have some. He has a bunch of old trials bike spares from when he used to sell Montesas and things like that. Alright, hold on a second. There you are. I've got a bigger screwdriver and a piece of alloy plate so we don't damage the fork. Ooh. This might be a break up the outer rim of the seal to get it out. Let me fiddle on with it for a little bit and bring you back. I think it's moving a little bit, so I've been and got a bigger lever. I also put some releasing stuff in there. Nearly out. There's obviously something wrong with this piece of aluminium because it's the same piece that jumped out of the way the other day. Moved a little bit, not much. No, I'm going to have to break the edge here with a little punch. Where are we? I'm not punching straight in or outwards. I'm catching the lip and punching away to get it to break off. See if I can pull this rubber out. Oh no, where's my little punch, my little tiny chisel gone? Hold on while I find that. Right, this is a small, sharp chisel which we can actually, rather than the punch won't work. This generally will, because you can run it down the side, so you're not going to do any damage. Once you sort of break this away, generally they come. You hear the change of the noise there. Where's our dangerous piece of alloy sheet? Bum, 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 bum. There we go. Alright, so that's that. The other one's going to be exactly the same, except there's going to be a little wire clip holding it in. So I'll take the other one apart, give these a wash out. Hang on. So I'll give these a wash out, just so that I'm not getting dirty. And then I'll sand and polish them. They've got that clear coat on, so that's gone nasty. So they won't just polish, they'll have to be sanded as well. So let me start doing that. I'll show you this other fork just because it's thankfully got its little piece with the mounting for where the cable goes in. This was originally, this second piece here, it's sort of 2 layers, for the mudguard mount, of course, but as you can see they're snapped off. But that's there. I've got plenty of these because you can see that one's bent, so that's good. So take that off and strip this one. Right, I've got both of these polished up, but before we start to dismantle the rest of the fork, I have a little disclaimer to make. As you know, I've been having trouble with this 95% processing thing, so I've been experimenting with different settings for the video to make the files smaller. And I went onto YouTube, not as someone with an account, but just someone who's watching, to see the quality of the last video I put up, and there were advertisements. Now, I just do these videos for fun, so believe me, I have not monetized them. I don't care about that. So my apologies if, as I am, you are annoyed by adverts in the videos. I didn't do it. That's just YouTube grubbing around for more money. So, as I say, sorry for that. Let's get on with the work. Alright then, let's see what's inside of a pair of Kawasaki KT250 forks. We'll take the end nut out and take the spring out first. I've got it in the alloy jaws here. I had to clean the end up with a file because somebody's used a pair, I don't know, more grips, adjustable spanner on it, something like that. Right, there it goes. So we're expecting all the usual things in both ends here. O-ring. Is there a piece in the end? Yep. There's a little piece there. So that'll fit inside the spring and give it a nice end for that to press up against, like that. You'll find various different things inside there. Oh, have we got 2 springs in these? Probably some residual oil in there. Hang on. So what I'll do, I will pull you back like that. Yes, there are, look at that. 2 springs, then that piece. Right, and we'll get the damper tube out. So let me make sure I lay these out in order. That must go, yeah, that goes in that end. That goes in that end. And that goes there. Very interesting. Right, what have we got here? Circlip. Let me get the circlip pliers. Right, where is it? Let's get it so I can see it, would make it easier. There we go. I'm going to get in the way here, but it's the only way I can do this. There's one pin in. Wish the little spring hadn't come out of this. There's like 4 pairs in the set, and for some reason a little spring came out of these. There we go. One clip. Well, that just comes off the end of that. So actually, if that comes off the end of that, now why have we got a clip in there? A couple of other things inside that. There's our sort of valve in. Well, I don't see what that clip is there to hold in, unless that's just tight in the end of that. Hang on, there's something else in there. Hang about. Just been up to the house to check if I had a parts book for this. I didn't, but good old internet, I found somebody who'd put a PDF of the KT250 part book on, and I was able to print out the page for the forks. So there's the big bolt thing which I got out the top with its spacing piece. There's the O-ring. It says 11 is gasket fork top bolt. So whatever. There's that tube piece, the top spring, the little plasticky bit, the bottom spring, and then there's the tube. Now the bit I'm looking at, because I've just taken this tube out, I can see all that in there, but I don't see how it comes out. And interestingly enough, you'll see that it's just listed as one piece. Number 18 is cylinder fork. So I've got a feeling you buy that, it doesn't actually come apart. Or if it does, I don't know how it comes apart. So what I'm going to do, because everything looks absolutely perfect in there, there are no score marks in any of these places. You saw the springs were well oiled, they're really, really nice. I'm just going to put these back together. We'll put our new fork seals in, and when it's up and running, if anything feels untoward, it's nothing to pull the forks out and have a look at them again. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me put this back together, and then we'll just put the oil seals in. Well, when I dropped the damper rod in, or the damper tube I should say in this instance, these three pieces came out. So there's sort of a collar thing that goes on the top that's still in there. But again, you know, there's no rust. There's not even any grunge in these. Somebody kept them well oiled and cleaned out. So I'm just going to put all this back together. Right, well, so we will put our oil seal in. Where are we? Oil. Always got to oil the lip of any seal like this. And then this part is going to go in like so. Before you ask, there's a sealing washer in the bottom. That goes in. I've got this turned right down to the minimum pressure. goes in there. Now we have one fork. I'll put that in, but I won't put the other thing in yet. Okay, so I'll do the other one, and then we'll go and put them in the yolks in the frame. I'll put the yolks in the frame, so now we'll slide the forks up in there. Now let's see. That one is the brake anchor one. That goes on the left, so this is going to go on the right. Come on, you slid out of here nice and easily. Now there it goes. I'm going to have to come up with some steering stops, aren't I? I thought of that. Okay, that's that. And this one is going to go into there until it's like that. Some nice new stainless, I think these are 8mm Allen bolts for there, for the final build up. Okay. Right, so the next thing we need is a wheel. Okay, I've got the speedometer drive on this side because basically it acts as a spacing piece and it has a seal and everything, so I don't see any point in not having it on. In fact, what I might even do is this, these forks came with their original speedometer look, which mounts on the fork leg. I think I might put that on. It looks the part, shall we say. All right. It's going to be a little bit. I've got a feeling that goes round out of the way. Of course you can't see what I'm doing, but it's the speedometer drive. Alright, now it's shaping. And that of course goes around to bolt onto there. I haven't got, the brake shoes haven't arrived for this, so I haven't put the brake plate together, but that doesn't matter. Come on. That's it. Very good. Right, let me turn this round and stand it on a box in the middle. Hey, this is starting to look like a bike. Right, what I'm going to do next actually is put the handlebars on, because then I can use the tie down straps and get this held securely. So I can put the swinging arm in and the rear suspension units. Ho ho ho. Right, let me get them out. Alright, who's got the big red handled T Allen key thing. On up. Right, well, I put the swinging arm in. So let's put these on. Come on. I've got to get some bigger washers on, maybe make up some domed ones, some curved ones. They will do for now, they'll keep everything the way it should be. That looks as if I didn't get that. I changed from being 3/8 at the bottom, or was it the top, to being 1/2 inch, and I forgot to tell them in time when they were making them, so I had to drill out the bushings. I've maybe got a burr on that one. Yeah, it feels a bit rough. Let me just go and run a file in that. Right, let's try again. Now that's always nice when that happens, because it means you've got your suspension things right. If one goes on and the other one won't, you start to think, uh-oh, what did I do? What moved before I got it welded? And what did I mismeasure? And as you know, mismeasurements have been known to happen. Right. Well, that's going to do us for today. Come out tomorrow morning, we'll put some more stuff on this, and actually while we're doing this I could be heating the engine cases up and dropping the bearings out, put new ones in. So see you tomorrow. Right, I've been getting the cases ready to go in the oven for the bearings. So we've got that main bearing, which drops out this way of course. This gearbox bearing, which also drops out this way. There's a big circlip that holds that in. And then here is a little needle roller bearing. In fact, that little needle roller bearing. Now, as you can see, this has got a closed end. Actually, on the BSA ones, it's in a blind hole. So I did make up a tool, a slide hammer type tool. And what this is actually is one of those concrete anchors. When you screw the bolt in, it spreads the end. So I think I filed it even, to make a little lip so that goes into the bearing, which actually is a smaller bearing than this. Then as you screw it in, the end opens out behind the bearing, catches it, and then you slide hammer it to get it out. But we don't need to this time, because as I say, it just we'll just knock that out and knock the new one in. And then on this side, there's actually only the one main bearing to do. Now I think what I'm going to do with these, because these are difficult to get out, it might just drop out, I doubt it, but I think what I'm going to do is I'll weld a little bit of bar across there, and then if it doesn't want to just drop out, I've got something to knock it out with, because this is right in against the lip, so it's difficult to get out. Alright, so I'm going to put the oven on and we'll put them in and do that. While they're heating up, we'll have a little look at the front mudguard mounting. Now, you may remember I don't have a front mudguard, although I've just arranged with a friend of mine. I had a couple of spare ones to get one off him at the weekend at this trial. But these, I used one of these on, I can't remember, actually it may even have been Bob's Triumph. I think they're off a Scorper or something. Mike has a bunch of them. He used to be the Scorper importer. And it's sort of one of those cases where he thought he was ordering 2 or 3 and they sort of come in 4s or something like that. So I know he has several of them. Anyway, they're just slightly big, and I don't think, no, they're not long enough. But there's enough here for us to just do a modification rather than have to make some mounts absolutely from scratch. So I think the first thing we do is apply a little bit of brute force, like that, to get that to go in there. Now then, we're going to have to raise it up, obviously a bit. So all we want is these to be longer. Maybe straighten them a little bit to get them parallel, because that's, see, bringing them in has made them point towards the middle. But let me play around with this. I say I can't do a lot until the mudguard comes, because that actually even looks a little bit wide for the white mudguard, so I might have to form that slightly to fit inside the mudguard. But it's going to be a lot easier just to weld on a couple of extensions there than to start and remake, or to make from scratch a whole new one. So let me have a look at that. Right, so I've been working on this, and actually, because of all these holes and stuff, when I just squeezed it up, it actually bent more one side than the other, so I've had to go backwards and forwards to get it symmetrical again. Now that's going to go on like that, giving us a bit of space up there, and that means it is I would say 2 inches. Alright, so these are 2 inches short. Also, there's the holes. Actually, you'll notice one of these is longer than the other. It's to give the mudguard a little bit of a kink. This is the broken piece. As you can see, the hole mounting is different, or the centre to centre. So what I'm thinking of doing is making a sort of U-shaped, so it'll come down to be square across the bottom, but rather than just being a flat piece, we'll shape it like that out of 1/4 inch alloy, because this is 4 inches and the distance across the mountains is 4.5 inches, so I can have 1/4 inch each side. So it'll be made out of 1/4 inch alloy. It'll bolt to the forks and it'll bolt to them, and that'll put us nicely like that. Actually, I suppose it goes around that way. The slightly taller one at the front to kick the front up a little bit. I think that's how they go. Right, so there is our drawing. So that's the 2 holes in the forks. That's the ones on the mudguard stay, and as I say, we'll just make it a nice shape. I made this out of thicker cardboard than usual so I can offer it up. So let me go and cut this out and punch some holes. Well, it turns out this corrugated cardboard wasn't exactly the best to use, but there's the piece bolted onto there, and then that one is going to go on there. These holes lined up, pardon my head, like that. Actually, we don't need it to be that tall. It can come down to about there. So let me mark that, and then I'll redo this little template. But before we do that, let's have a go at... Yeah, that made you dizzy, didn't it? Seal cases are too big to go in the oven, but let's see if they are hot enough. Right, hold on a second while I put my gloves on and this out of here. Whoop, bonk, and come on. Yeah, this one's good. God, this is hot. Oh! God! I'm going to put that in and let that heat up a bit more. Wow! That was hot! But you saw that one, the big one, the main bearing. See how it just fell out? As I said, when we used to do them in the oven, when your mum was out, you could actually hear them drop out. But anyway, we'll give that a couple of minutes more, and while that's heating up again, I'll go and do this cardboard. Right, well, I've marked out this 1/4 inch alloy. This works so much better now I've put that 3-phase motor on and the VFD. This is going to take forever. Let me turn you off and I'll bring you back near the end. And there you go. Just finish this off with a file, make sure this one's alright, drill the holes in it, round bits off, and then if that's good, we'll make another one to match this. By the way, Aid, did you buy your bandsaw? They're handy. Right, let's try these bearings again. You may have noticed I was only using the wooden end of this to bop it with. Come on, there it goes. Right, and this one, actually I've just noticed the new bearing isn't quite like the old bearing. Are you still in picture? Yeah. See, that one came out easily as well, but, oh no, it's the same. I actually thought that had a lip on it, but it doesn't. Alright, so we'll let that cool down. And then we'll do the other one. What I'm going to do next is I'll bead blast these while there's no bearings or anything in, and then we'll pop the new bearings in. So back to our mudguard stairs. Right, well, there's our piece of alloy. See if I drill the holes in the right places. Well, the first bolt's gone in. My God, the second one's gone in as well. So there's two holes that were put right. Oh, by the way, the UPS man's just been and brought my new rear rim and spokes. So we'll see if they got it right this time. Doesn't look half bad, does it? Now, what did I decide? Longer one at the front. That goes there. Boom. We can use shorter bolts when I do this. I don't know, once we've got a washer on. Now then, here's the big question. Let me walk around here. Is this going to... I have no idea what that hole's for. Oh, it looks as if we're a fraction out. A fraction. A mere midgie's dick. Yeah, let me just go and ease these holes. Right, let's try again. Long one to the front. Shall I put this one in first? See that. And then, looks alright. There we go. Oh no. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. I think that's got enough space in there. I think that looks alright. Alright, I'll use this as a template and go and make one for the other side. And there we go, both sides done. I might have been wrong about the long one going on the front or the back. Yeah, we'll find out anyway. It's symmetrical, so we put the mudguard on, and if it's the wrong way around, take it mudguard off and put it back on. So there we go. When they're polished up, they look nice. It's another jobbed. Okay, well, I think probably I'll get that bearing out of the case, and then that'll be all we'll get done this week. So here's our just in case job. I bronzed a little piece of scrap across the outer bearing race there. So if when I heat this up it doesn't just drop out, I've got something to knock it out with. So let me stick it in the oven. Right, well, let's see if this is hot enough. There we go. All done and dusted. Alright, well, I think we're up to 50 some minutes now. So we'll call that it for this week's video. And next week we'll just carry on doing what we can do until we're finished. So until then, stay safe and enjoy yourselves.